What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hadfield. Joining me this week, Justin Davis,
Scoop.
Jared Petty,
Scoop.
Sam Claiborne.
Howdy.
We've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about some changes coming to Hearthstone this spring. We got to talk about Cry Primal and other prehistoric games. But first...
But Damon, I don't like it when things that I like change.
I know you don't.
I want everything to just stay the
always
same
stay the
forever.
same forever. But change is a part of life, part of growing up.
Yeah.
A part of gradually marching toward your inevitable death.
Yep.
I get a lot of change in the pinball machines I operate.
There you go.
I turn them in for paper money.
Ooh,
That's good.
Folding
That's good
money.
change.
wow.
Folding money.
The Witness is a hot new video game that all the kids are playing.
Yeah.
No kids are playing that
Also
game.
many adults.
Let's be real
There's
about
kids
that.
playing it.
We're going to get letters from kids playing that game. They're going to be like, "Dear sir, I am 6 years old.
Kids, if you're listening to
and
the
I am
show,
playing
turn
this."
it off.
Justin, you said The Witness is your favorite game of the generation?
Oh, yeah.
So far?
Yeah, totally.
Whoa.
I'm completely enamored with it. I love everything about it. I think the puzzles are really smart and clever. I think the world is gorgeous. I think before I played it, I didn't really understand why it took 7 or 8 years to make. And now the world is so intricate and detailed and so well thought out from both kind of a micro level immediately in your face and sort of a zoomed out level that
You said all these exact same things about Flappy Bird.
that's true.
I
But-
caught myself playing
but
Flappy
this
Bird for like 2
time-
hours the other day.
This time I'm right.
Okay.
No, but it feels like it's almost unfathomable how complex and intricate and complicated the world is and how many different parts fit together in different ways that are clever and unexpected and surprising and delightful.
It's a thoughtful game. It really is. You sit there and look at, and you were talking about that sense of perspective kind of permeates through it like a fractal.
You
It's
just
really
can't fake
amazing.
that stuff. There's stuff where just the complexity of the puzzles and how they interact with each other, that stuff can't be faked or cheated. That just takes time. That just takes years and years and years to develop and own. And
Or lots of people instead of one.
well, sure, but I mean, even then, I don't know that something like this could be done by committee. I mean, I think it's absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Jared has a theory about The Witness.
Well, the reason I enjoyed it, I
It's
don't
a
normally-
spoiler-free one, right?
Yeah, it is spoiler-free. I don't
Spoiler-free.
normally
Are we going
like...
to keep this spoiler-free?
Let's keep it spoiler-free.
Because this is a spoiler-free discussion.
So I
here.
shouldn't talk about all the ghosts.
Okay,
great.
Yeah, all right. Or the fact that the game ends with the hatch from Lost, right?
Right.
Okay, good.
And you might have a theory, but also we should mention Jared doesn't like this game a lot.
Oh, actually, no,
You
you're
just said
thinking
it was
of a
a-
different game. I like The Witness.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
thought you
you're
were
thinking
saying
about
you... Well, okay.
Yeah.
You said
Probably-
if you had to do the guide for this game, you'd quit.
If I had to do the guide, I'd quit. But that's because I have a shriveled raisin for that part of my brain that solves puzzles.
That was a retroactive threat. He
Yeah.
didn't say that when he got assigned to it.
No, nothing like that. I got to play this game in an era when guides are readily available, and if I get stuck forever and ever, instead of sitting and spinning my wheels in frustration, I could go look. And that was very nice. I got to experience like most people do. But thing about the game that shocked me, I don't like puzzled games most of the time. I didn't realize that this one's kind of a secret Metroidvania game. You go to in a Metroidvania.
Secret Metroidvania
It
game.
is. In a Metroidvania game, you go.
Before he explains
Yeah,
himself, have you heard his theory about this?
I mean, I can imagine, knowing what I know about The Witness, where he's going with this.
Yeah.
The game unlocks keys in your mind to doors you didn't know were locked.
Pretty much that's it, and that.
But it
yeah.
doesn't have super missiles.
Right. It doesn't have super missiles. But in a Metroid game, you get to an area you can't get far.
We all
enough.
know what a Metroid
You go
game
off
is.
to a different area, find a power up.
Let's fast forward.
In this case, the power ups are not items you find in the game. This is knowledge that you gain through working out a different set of puzzles. You get frustrated, you go off to a different area, you learn something, you come back, boom, you get through. Sometimes you can bomb jump your way around it by figuring out something by being clever that you got a little ahead of, or through a little more doggedness or experimentation.
Damon,
it's a neat game.
allow me to explain.
Okay.
So you come up against these puzzle panels, and there's different puzzle panels in different areas of the island. Each one has different symbols on it that mean different things. It might have blocks, it might have stars, it might have little dots. And then through some sort of introductory puzzles, it teaches you, oh, you have to separate the block colors. They can't all be the same color. And they ramp up in complexity, and then you understand how the block works. You might come up against stars, and it says, oh, the stars have to be in pairs of 2. And then you figure that out, and there's a bunch of those puzzles. So every time you learn a new set of puzzles, it's like learning a new language. And so you can come up against a door in the beginning of the game that's just got crazy symbols all over it. And the solution's there. Like, you can solve that door from minute 1 when you start the game, But you can't really because you haven't learned the language
Exactly.
yet. You don't know the vocabulary yet. You don't know the rules for opening that door. So in that sense, that's a locked door, and what
I have so
unlocks
many
it,
Simon's Quest jokes I just didn't make.
The super
what
missiles in
unlocks
this
that
game
door
are your
is
brain.
your knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The super
Goodness
missiles are your
gracious.
brain. Yep.
So I'd call it more of a Zelda Tunia.
Oh, there we are. Zelda Tunia. There we are.
Are you going to talk about?
Where's the graveyard duck?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the sales stats?
Yeah, we'll talk about the sales stats. I still need to start the game. I just finished Rise of the Tomb Raider last night.
It's a very different game than this.
Remember when we solved that puzzle together and we recorded it,
Yep.
and then we didn't put it on the site ever because it took us too long to solve the puzzle?
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah,
Did you solve that puzzle?
Oh yeah, I saw that puzzle.
So on your own, was it easier?
Well, because I remembered, like, what did Sam do? Yeah.
I also think
I want to point out, there's a real. I love the. You beat the game, right? Did you actually?
No, I got past that part.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a post-credits scene that's pretty cool.
Oh,
Okay.
snap, really?
Yeah.
So, the last thing I want to say about The Witness.
No, we're not. We're gonna still talk about The Witness.
Okay.
The last thing I want to say about Rise of the Tomb Raider is
it.
I've been playing the Baba Yaga DLC, and I think maybe my game may be like bugged or glitched because there's one of your missions is harvest 2 deer livers.
Yeah, we got there.
So I'm running around trying to hunt these deer, and you can look on your map and say, okay, there's a deer there. And I kept running. I'd like, run over there, and there's no deer. And then I would say, pull up my map again. Okay, now it's moved right behind me. Turn around, no deer.
Okay.
Now it's over there. I run over there. There's no deer. But every time I'd go, there'd be rabbits. So I was like, did the game spawn a rabbit instead of the deer?
Maybe it's a jackalope.
And I got to try. I got
Try to get a deer
distracted.
liver from the rabbit.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do.
That might work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, back to The Witness.
That happens in
We,
The Witness too. Just
Yeah.
I think so. People always said if you encounter a hard problem or just in your life or in a puzzle game or whatever, just sleep on it, right?
Yeah.
But what The Witness really taught me is that that's not just an expression. Like that's actual. Like there's actual biology and chemistry that if you see a hard problem and you work on it and then go away and leave it, like your brain's still working on it. Like you're eating dinner, you're watching a show with your partner, you're sleeping, but your brain's still, it's in there. And it feels like magic, but this is absolutely true that if you think, I'm never going to solve this, it's impossible, I just want to look up a guide, just don't and leave. And then I can't tell you, probably a dozen times, I came back to the game a day later or 2 later, and then it was like, first try. I'm like, oh, I see what to do.
Yeah,
Jared
that's-
is here to play devil's advocate.
No, I think that's absolutely true. I'm just not as patient as you, so I've enjoyed in the situations where
I will admit, I wanted to get through the game without looking anything up, and there was one that one puzzle, one out of the 500 I've
Twiggate.
solved. I
Hashtag
couldn't-
Twiggate.
Yeah, I couldn't, no, not even Twiggate. I don't count Twiggate.
No?
Because you spoiled that for me.
Really?
I would have got that one on my own.
I spoiled it
Yeah,
by saying the ground thing.
yeah.
Oh, really? I think that's the Watergate of The Witness.
It is the worst puzzle in The Witness, but there was one that was just too. There's one very close to the end that I'm sad to admit I did look up, but I got the other 499 plus on my own.
Looking up a solution can go one of 2 ways. If the answer seems obvious, then I feel bad. It's like, oh, I really should have figured that out.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, I never would have thought about that. So I'm really glad I
The
looked that
Witness is
up.
not that kind of. The puzzles are very, very, very hard, but there's 1 or 2 in the entire game that I consider kind of those BS. Like I never even would have figured that out. The rest you just have to figure out. Like.
I've looked up even with cheating on it. I've looked up 5 puzzles.
And I will say what happened after I looked up one, like then the floodgates were open. Like then I'm like, because then I'm like, well I've already, like I might as well just look up that. But I stayed strong. I stayed strong and I solved the rest of the game on my own.
It's kind of like losing your virginity.
But I helped him.
You might as well just.
We all heard it.
When you crush the flower, you can't put the flower back together.
You might as well just bone everybody at that point.
You guys can all use me as personal game help if you need to.
Stealth.
So you don't have to use Guy.
Metroidvania game.
Tweet at me and I'll give you hints instead of the direct solution.
We have an email about The Witness from Matt in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Murfreesboro.
That's a made-up place.
Murfreesboro.
Home of the Battle of Stones River.
This is a true thing? And
Is
it's
this a
pronounced
true thing?
Murfreesboro?
Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro.
Yeah,
Is this Murfreesboro?
Yeah, Murfreesboro. Well, is that Murphy? No, that's Crazy Puzzle Island.
Yeah, that's Puzzle Island.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Matt says, it has been said that you should never buy a console for one game. Is that a thing that has been said?
I'm sure someone
Who
said
said that?
Probably Matt from Murfreesboro.
Didn't somebody ask us this exact thing before?
It's
He says, is The Witness worth buying a PlayStation 4 for? I have an Xbox One. I've considered buying a second console for some time. None of the other exclusive Sony titles have been enough for me to pull the trigger, but is Witness that game?
Value propositions are always subjective. However, this is a really spectacular game and different than just about anything you've ever played. So if you got the money laying around, yeah, sure, go for it.
But like you were saying, you're not a big fan of puzzle games.
I'm not a big fan of puzzle
So if
games.
you're
and I
not
still
a big
think
fan
this is
of-
an amazing game that I think people
But you
should
also
play.
surely, I mean, the game will run on low-ish end PCs.
Yeah.
And I would say, I mean, look, it's my game of the generation. I absolutely adore it. I think everyone should play it. I do expect the game someday to come to Xbox One. So if you're not in a hurry, wait and see how things shake out over the next few months, whether there's an announcement there. And I would double check the specs. I actually don't know the PC specs offhand, other than I know that they're not crazy high. So even if you have an older PC, you might actually be okay.
It runs pretty well on my older PC.
Yeah.
I have to down the
And there
settings
is,
down.
if you're worried about like Steam, the older my computer gets, the more Steam games, like having Steam running in the background can slow down the games themselves. Like I really like to have just that one app running. And there is a DRM-free version of The Witness that you can buy as well. Then you don't even need to have Steam running.
I think The Witness is okay in short bursts. I think there's a lot of other games on the PS4 that you could play for a lot longer time that you'd have a lot more fun with if you just had one game. I don't know if that's like a Desert Island proposition that he's saying, but like if you're gonna get a PS4, like get The Witcher 3. We loved Metal Gear.
Yeah, Metal Gear
Solid 5.
Although I wouldn't characterize The Witness as a short game either. I mean, there's
I don't think it's short.
lot in there.
I was saying that if you're just gonna like marathon, like you have one system in one game, I don't think it's that great to like just sit down and play for 8 hours.
I'm trying to think about what.
Like I played nightly and it's fine, but
exclusives.
I get sick of it.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I don't think I own every console. So
Bloodborne.
I have a hard time kind of remembering which games are only on one console. Honestly, besides like Halo and all the obvious stuff like that. Like there's no Uncharted.
There's a
yet.
lot to play on the PS4 right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
there is.
I wouldn't have said that at the time Bloodborne came out, but since then there's been great stuff.
Yeah. Witness has been performing very well. Sold over 100,000 copies in its first week, brought in over $5 million in revenue.
Warms the cockles of my heart.
Yeah. Jonathan Blow said that's better than Braid did in its first year.
Yeah, the crazy stat is, so Braid was $15,
Yeah.
which I thought it was 20, but he was 15, and he's right about that. It's his game, obviously he's right. But so not only did it make more money, I'm like, well, of course it made more money. It's $40 instead of 15. But he said it sold more copies.
Yeah.
Which that's what amazes me. At $40, this sold more copies
in a week.
Well,
than
nobody
Braid did in
gave
his
Braid
first
a 10.
year.
But the caveat is that Braid was only on XBLA, and this is on Steam and Humble and PS4.
Yeah, it's releasing at the right time of
But
year.
even so, like I'm super. I mean, look, I'm incredibly happy about it. I was, he spent his whole fortune on it, and all this time. I was worried that he just wasn't going to see a return on investment, but it's great news.
So your favorite game of the generation so far?
Yeah.
What are you, Jared and Sam's favorite
my
games of the generation so far?
Jeez.
I like The Witcher 3 a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Metal Gear Solid 5. Those are both great.
Maybe Undertale.
Undertale.
I can't. I mean, it's 3DS this generation. I don't know.
Is there a 3DS game you would pick?
Yeah, I like a lot of 3DS games a lot. I really liked Fire Emblem.
I mean, Fire Emblem was great. Yeah,
I loved NES Remix.
yeah,
NES
Remix
Remix
really
is
good.
great.
I'm going to say the re-release this weekend in 2 on PSN.
That's a cheat. I'm not going to allow that.
No, all right. No, probably Undertale. That'd be, or Mario Maker. I've loved both those quite a bit.
Yeah, Witcher 3 is like the only game I've been compelled to 100% in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, like there's been, you 100%ed that game?
I felt compelled to. I don't know if I actually did now that I think about it. I came really close. I didn't finish Fallout 4, but I played
That's like
for a
really
long
good
time.
wiggle words, though. I felt compelled to 100% it. I didn't, but I was compelled.
No, but I didn't get some achievements in it because I think you have to replay it.
Yeah. I loved The Witcher, and I really loved Dragon Age. Like, there's been all kinds of games I've loved, but this generation is nothing. There's nothing I've been like as passionate about as some of the stuff like the Uncharted trilogy last gen, the Mass Effect trilogy last gen. Like it doesn't feel like. I mean, I know we're early-ish on, but like even the Assassin's Creed franchise started last gen and had a run of great games. I feel like this gen has been slower to get going, and I haven't played any games until The Witness that I thought were like on the all-time classics.
Shovel Knight, that'd be another one. I think that's
Sure.
a legit. I know it looks retro, but that's some of the best level design I've ever seen in a game.
You played Myst again.
Huh?
Do you like Myst now?
No, I don't like Myst. No.
I know. Jared wrote an opinion piece about not liking Myst.
It didn't upset anyone.
No one at all. Yep, my opinions
I thought it
on
was a great
Myst
opinion
and the Star
piece.
Wars prequels are very popular.
Yeah,
I share those opinions entirely, and we talked about them ahead of time. And we know have some alternate headlines and stuff, but
I
think those are I think Defenders for Mist are a little more common than prequels. But I know now that there's a lot of people out there that like Star Wars prequels.
And if you watch,
I asked on my Twitter feed, I put up a poll.
I remember, yeah.
What would you think about Disney remaking the Star Wars prequels? And it was
50-50.
almost 50-50. People say they were for it or against it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
It's a cool
That's not
prospect.
necessarily
It'll
what
happen
they
eventually.
Like I think the prequels are crap, but I don't want to see them remade. It's like, go do something else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing them remade eventually. Just because they leave such a bitter taste in my mouth, and I'm full of hate and bile.
Nobody's going to remake them without Jar Jar, though.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah. You remember
They're not going to remake them without Jar Jar. That won't happen.
But Jar Jar
That's
Binks
the
could just be
movie.
Like, what if he's just a dude? It's like
He doesn't serve any purpose.
What if
He does
he's
not
Alec
further the
Baldwin?
story.
I
at
He's just
all.
Alec Baldwin standing there. He's Jar Jar Binks. He's just a dude in a robe. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, good
I'm
there.
on board.
My favorite game of the generation so far, if you will allow it, would probably be Hearthstone.
Oh no, that's
Which
great.
brings us to our next topic,
Oh.
which is Hearthstone. They announced some changes coming to the game this spring. Man, I find it hard to explain to people that don't play the game regularly, which I don't think Justin or Jared and Sam do.
It's not that hard.
I'm
Jared played it.
I'm familiar
You guys all
enough
played
with
it.
it to talk about
They
it.
release
I played
new
it.
cards a couple times a year,
Right.
and the new change is that only cards released in the last 2 calendar years.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact time span.
I think that's right, yeah.
But only the most recent
Or the
few
current
sets
calendar
of
year,
cards
maybe
are going to
that's
be in the new standard,
Just
standard ladder.
like paper CCGs do.
Yep.
Same
Yeah,
thing. They're
so-
just creating a cycle where
So there'll be a standard ladder with those rules, but then there'll be a wild ladder
That's
where
everything.
any card is possible.
And is
you
that
can
to keep people buying cards?
I think it's to try and simplify and focus the metagame.
What's the real reason?
Well, it's
Damon?
twofold. So it's to make it easier for people to come in. So
Yeah.
you don't need to buy card packs from a million different sets to try to build up your card base. Like it can be really really hard to play catch up. And cynically, it is to ensure that you have to plug a little bit of money into this game.
Because you have to get
each
the new
year.
set, right?
You have to get the new set. And I guess the third reason I would say, the bigger the card pool is, the harder it is for Blizzard to shake up the metagame.
Yep.
Once you have something like with Dr. Boom, is that
Yeah.
his name, and his Boombots?
Yeah.
Like there's certain cards that just get used in every single deck,
Yeah,
no
it's
matter
like,
what.
It would be stupid to not include this card.
So
in
to
the
be
deck.
able to eventually, and then the whole game is built around
Yeah.
countering those cards or building on those cards, and so to eventually have them cycle out allows them to keep the metagame fresh.
Magic the Gathering did this, ages and ages ago, forked its tournament structures, and I think that was for the best for most players. It it leveled the playing field over and over again.
Did you play
This
that when it
component-
was a meat space card game?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys play Magic?
I still
Yeah.
did, yeah.
My friends and I played
Yeah.
Magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never played a TCG
I never played
game.
like competitively at like a comic shop, but
Yeah,
It was a couple years ago. It was going around the office again, and we kind of stopped a little.
I came in during Fallen Empires, played through the Black Summer, and I really have just come and gone for life since. That game's, it's like...
Do you have expensive cards?
It's like heroin and chess connected. No, I do the same thing with that I do with my video game collection. I sell all my valuable stuff just before
You do a
it becomes really
purge.
valuable. Yeah.
Oh, before it comes value.
Just before it becomes really
time to
valuable.
sell.
Yeah, I'm really good at that. If you want to know what stocks to buy, find out which ones I'm selling.
That's great.
See, I think those changes sound cool. You can still. I think the way it works now, or the way it's going to work, is that at the end of a month, they're going to take whichever ladder you perform better at. That'll be like the ladder that
Oh, see, that part I hadn't read. That's
Oh,
interesting.
that they take. Yeah, I think that's how I understand it. And then they're also doubling the amount of deck slots you have. People have complained for a long time. You only have
Forever.
9 deck slots, and there are 9 classes, so
The cynic
it
in
doesn't
me-
allow for a lot of.
I think this change is fine. But I think Blizzard knew that people were going to howl and scream about it, so they doubled their deck slots along with.
But like, yeah.
So it's like they're giving this thing that everyone can be like so happy about, and that
Yeah.
some people were worried Blizzard might even try to charge for, and just doubling that at the same time they're giving people some news that they might not want.
Like a carrot and stick thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's smart. Blizzard
Although I don't
handles
see
that properly.
I don't see what there is to be upset about with the new standard
Yeah.
ladder.
I don't know. I mean,
Can you trade Hearthstone cards?
There's no trading cards now.
Well, I guess that means that you just have to buy their cards instead of making money on your own, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand the complaints. It will.
Can you sell your account?
No. I mean, not legally.
Not legally?
No.
Is it really illegal?
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if it's illegal or Blizzard illegal.
It's
Like,
a
if you have an
violation
amazing
of medical
collection
ethics.
and you never want to play again, and you can't just give somebody your account or sell it to them.
I mean, you can just
I mean, it's
give
like
them your
your-
login info and they can just play on your account. I'm sure.
I guess, but it's like your Battle.net account. Like, even though I'm not actively playing Hearthstone anymore, but I'm not gonna, like, I use Battle.net for, like, Diablo and stuff. Like,
I
Yeah.
kind of like the idea of like getting a knock on the door and just Fed standing there, be like, "Sir, we'd like to talk to you about your
Want
Hearthstone
to come down to the
account."
station, answer a few questions for us?
About Hearthstone.
it's an interesting game, Damon. You and I were talking about this at lunch the other day. I think the game is super reasonable in how it makes its money and what it charges for. It releases these single-player, like, challenge expansions where what are they, like $20 or $25?
Yeah.
I think they're 20 if you buy early, and they go up
yeah,
to
you get a
25.
discount.
And it's totally like a good value. Like, it's got all this voice acting, and it takes you through these 9 challenges and 9 heroic challenges, and gives you new cards, and it gives you class challenges. Like, it's a good value. But there's 3 of those now, and so like if you're just now getting into Hearthstone, like
Yeah.
that's $75.
There's certain
plus-
cards you can only get by playing,
Yeah.
by buying these single player packs.
And you're
So it's
not- you don't
it'll get expensive over time.
Like, don't buy anything you don't want to buy. It's not like you have to buy it, but like you kind of do. And so
I would
it's like-
rather have $75 worth of Garbage Pail Kids cards, frankly.
But that's
personally.
I do
Personally.
have
and like that particular
pretty
problem.
close to complete collection of the original run of Garbage Pail Kids.
No kidding.
Like starting with 0,
Yeah,
0,
like-
1.
Well, for me, yeah.
who's
exactly.
your favorite Garbage Pail Kid?
Oh man, I mean, Flame and Damon, even though it's spelled wrong, I will always have
What
that.
era is that from?
That's later, like 5th or 6th series.
I tried to find Jared, but his card was canceled as the 15th series. It had a Jared card that
There's only one Jared.
yeah. But then they brought it back in 2000 with some of the canceled cards. So he does have one out there.
Is it back again too?
It's been on and off, I think, in the 2000s. So there's definitely stuff going on right now.
Yeah, the name Jared wasn't particularly. It's still not popular, but it was not around much there for a long time.
I think it's Jarred Jared is what it was.
It may dip in popularity due to recent current events.
It may very well. That would be my Star Wars editorial, right?
Nope, I was talking about.
Oh no, I'm just being stupid.
Snooty Sam is like in the 300 era, which is like Series 3 or whatever. I forget how they're
that's
numbered.
how it works.
But that's when I started getting them, so I was really hyped. I was like, hey, I'm in here.
Moving on, Far Cry Primal is the next Far Cry game coming out soonish. March? Is that when that game's coming out? Does that sound about right?
I think it's February.
It's
Is it this month?
It's the end of
It's this month.
February.
It's the end of this month.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 weeks.
Before we get into our discussion here, how are you guys feeling about Far Cry Primal right now? Is this a Far Cry game you
I've
guys...
talked about my love for mastodons and all things large and furry from the past.
This
so
is
I'm excited
taking
about that.
the Far Cry formula and putting it in a prehistoric setting.
Yeah.
Right, for anyone who's
I think it's really
unfamiliar.
clever. I'm kind of on blackout to just play it from the start and try it out. I like Blood Dragon a lot.
I like Blood
I'm
Dragon.
not a Far Cry fan, so
I've liked every.
I like Blood
liked-
Dragon.
Really liked everything Far Cry since Far Cry 3. So I'm excited for more Far Cry. But this got me thinking about other prehistoric games.
Honk.
The history of prehistoric games.
Exciting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Chuck Rock.
This is a
now
tough
hold
area
on.
of research.
Hold on, hold your horses here. When I was looking up prehistoric games, I was hard pressed to find anything from before the late '80s. There was a big craze with prehistoric games in the '90s, but I was surprised at how few prehistoric games there were.
Yeah, and Jared and I talk about one all the time.
There were
Yeah.
a couple.
Well, there's a lot of history games like Greek and like Aztec-based stuff like that, but prehistoric with either dinosaurs
Yeah.
or cavemen in it is
Yeah.
what you're
There
classifying.
was-
Yeah, the earliest one I could come up with
Was the one that we talk about
off the top
all
of
the
my head. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to lay some expectations. We're not considering just games that have dinosaurs in them.
Right.
So like not Dino Crisis, not dinosaurs and Cadillacs, Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But games that are set in a prehistoric
prehistory.
Right.
era.
Right.
So the earliest one, I think, as you pointed out, Jared, was
licensed game.
BC's.
BC's Quest for Tires was the first one I could think
I
of.
love
Is
that
the one you were
game.
talking
I
about?
think I topped it,
Okay,
but
which
there's
one?
a caveat.
Oh, hold on here.
Okay,
Let's
that's 1983.
describe this game.
So
This is
BC's
based
Quest
on
for
the
Tires
BC
is-
comic strip.
On the comic strip, right. So
Isn't still running, is it?
I loved this game when I was a
I
kid.
don't know.
Really?
no,
Still-
no
Yeah.
one knows.
No one
It's
knows.
so good. It has a really cool cartoon rendering of the main character,
Yeah.
and he's on a unicycle made out of stone, and you go to the right and you jump over stuff.
You try to avoid
It's an endless
turtles.
runner.
And it's kind of like an endless runner. Yeah, and it's.
You remember this comic?
BC?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I liked BC for a while, and then it got kind of overtly spiritual to the point that it started feeling saccharine.
Got pretty weird there.
And
yeah.
yeah, but
Turn Ziggy.
Yeah, it got a little ziggy.
There were at least 2 Flintstones games on the NES. Do they count?
We're in 1983 right
83.
now.
That's
We're going
era?
chronological. No.
All right. I don't know. I feel like you 3 had some like sidebar that I wasn't a part of.
No. We're just excited about dinosaurs.
So
BC
DC
Well, but here's the thing: is that BC doesn't really have dinosaurs in it. We
it's
tried to
prehistoric.
research what the earliest game is with dinosaurs in it, and it's surprisingly hard to do.
There's that 83 Apple II game. Is that the one you're thinking about?
No,
Okay.
what I said was Gottlieb's Dinosaur, which is an arcade game.
Okay.
But it's Caveman. Sorry, Gottlieb's Caveman.
Okay.
It has dinosaurs in it and a joystick, but it's also attached to a pinball machine.
Yeah.
So it's like Baby Pac-Man. It has a full arcade game in it, but it drops out of there and you play pinball for a little bit, and then it goes back in the arcade game. You play the joystick.
Yeah, and that
So
was
that's
what year?
called
Was that
Caveman.
82?
83.
Or is that 83 also?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Gottlieb.
83.
So that's the earliest I got.
So Gottlieb's 83.
Because of BC's.
BC's 83.
And then I think we jumped 5 years to 1988.
Well,
and
there's one more. There's
Which one?
Is it Dino Egg or Dino Egg?
we looked up Dino Eggs
Okay.
is unreleased.
It's 83. Dino
Yeah.
Eggs is unreleased.
Well, it came out on a lot of platforms.
Yeah.
But when we were looking at it, it was like ColecoVision. Well, I don't want to get into
It
it.
came out on Apple II. I
This
think.
is not
Apple
going to
II,
be
yeah.
an exhaustive history.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no,
of
it's fine.
prehistoric video games. This will be a brief history.
That game looks fun. I never played it.
Yeah.
Of prehistoric video games. In 1988, Caveman Olympics
Ooh.
came to Commodore 64. It was known on NES as Caveman Games.
Caveman games, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an American Gladiator style game, and it came out on NES in 1990.
I would describe it more as like California games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it would be
With
like California
set in
games.
prehistoric
Summer
times.
games, winter games.
But
California
they
games,
have an
all kinds
American
of things.
Gladiator thing,
Okay.
like where you fight each other like off a thing.
Yeah.
Good.
No, I just want to do that in the office now. Can we get those big pugil sticks and the helmets and do American Gladiators in the office?
It's painful.
The following year, The Adventures of Dino Riki
Yeah.
came to NES.
Game is so cool. It's
That's like
terrible,
like-
but it's really a great name and great art.
It's like Commando in prehistoric times, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's top-down scrolling, vertically scrolling shooter, kind of.
Yeah, it's dumb.
This is one I rented once and tried to forget. That's
Really?
mostly
It's
what I
that-
remember.
Not to be
Yeah.
confused with Kid Nicky Radical Ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Which is not a prehistoric game.
No. 1990 saw the release of Bonk's Adventure
Yeah. Oh,
on the TurboGrafx system.
and Trog and Big Nose the Caveman and Big Nose Freaks Out. Those are all NES games from that.
What caused the?
There was
like,
a caveman explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why was there a caveman explosion in the early 90s?
Bonk can't have hurt because Bonk was Hudson decided to go with him as the U.S. mascot.
Yeah, but it wasn't
so-
even just in video games.
No,
like it all
definitely
culminated
never-
in like Encino Man.
I think Yoshi might have had something to do with it. Honestly, 91.
there was
we
a
get- we get
Flintstones
Yoshi
resurgence?
over here, and Yoshi was just
yeah, and
huge.
Flintstones came back too.
Jurassic Park came out around that time. Yoshi was there.
Yeah.
I think
Where did
that,
this come from? What started it?
Well,
though?
I think it might have been
Land of the Lost.
Yoshi and Jurassic Park would have been enough, frankly.
Yeah.
And I think those two happened.
But don't you guys think it's more surprising that in the 80s, when we all were really obsessed with dinosaurs and dinosaur toys,
there wasn't
that there
as much,
wasn't
yeah.
a bunch
That's
of
what I'm thinking.
dinosaur video
It
games?
took like marketers and people that make media a decade to figure out. Wait a second.
People love dinosaurs. There are 3 sequels to Bonk's Adventure: Bonk's Revenge, Bonk 3, Bonk's Big Adventure, and then Super Bonk was on Super Nintendo.
Yep. The one to play is Bonk's
And that
Revenge.
doesn't even count Air Zonk.
Yeah, which has
Which-
2 iterations. I think,
But I'm not sure if that's supposed to be set in
That's a
prehistoric
spin-off.
times or if it's on another
no, that's
planet.
like future.
opposite,
That's
yeah.
future. How Bonk's Revenge is actually a good video game. The others of those you can live without, but the Bonk 2 is totally worth
Yeah,
playing.
Bonk's okay.
I like Bonk.
Again, not a
Big,
huge focus on
colorful
dinosaurs
sprites.
in those games, though, right?
in Bonk,
Oh no, I guess Bonk
They get
does.
eaten by the
Hey,
big
does
dinosaurs.
Adventure Island count? It has dinosaurs.
but I don't think it's set in prehistoric times.
It's
Remember,
hard
we're
to-
not just talking about dinosaurs.
No, I know, I know. So the Adventure Island is stuck in the past, but Master Higgins is a contemporary gentleman.
I think
I
we
think
have to.
so, yeah.
I think we have to date it by the skateboard. When were skateboards invented? That'll
Well, the
determine
Flintstones have
history.
cars, so
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
well
true.
then that's a good point.
We will count 1991's Turtles in Time because they travel back
Absolutely.
to prehistoric times.
does that mean
in
we have
one
to
level.
count the Home Improvement game in which
Do they travel back to
in which
prehistoric
Tim
times?
Allen fights through a dinosaur set
Yeah.
for the first level?
Yeah, sure. 1991
weird game.
was also Chuck Rock, which I
Yeah.
rented for my Sega Genesis.
I have
Chuck
never
Rock.
played Chuck Rock.
I haven't either.
What
What's
is
Chuck Rock about?
Rock?
It's a platformer where I think there were some puzzle elements to it also.
Mediocre platformer.
Yeah.
I had Chuck Rock 2, Son of Chuck.
Chuck Rock 2, Son of Chuck.
That was the one that I owned.
Yep. That was another one. That same year was when Joe and Mac was in arcades.
Man,
That's a
that game
two-player
blew me away in the arcade.
cooperative caveman game.
I used to get that conflated in my head with Toki Goes Apespit. Like they're completely
Which one
different
is that?
games. That I thought that was prehistoric, but it's not. It's just tropical. You're a monkey walking around spitting like energy balls at
Did
things.
you know
And
the
I used to
people
think
that
was
just
Caveman Ninja.
redid Toki want to do the Caveman Ninja Joe and Matt game next?
That would make no. I did not know that, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they look a lot alike.
So Joe and Matt Caveman Ninja is a side-scrolling co-op, like Contra like co-op
Yeah.
game.
Data East, right?
Yeah, Data East made it.
Yeah.
Who also made the game I mentioned earlier, Trog. But yeah, or
I like
yes,
Trog.
yes, Trog. But yeah, it's a really cartoony, and the dinosaurs are huge,
Yeah,
like
really
huge
cool.
sprites. And on the Super Nintendo, is gorgeous when they ported it. But it also got an NES port. That was really bad.
I have never played the NES version of Caveman Ninja.
They can't make those giant
NES port
sprites.
of Joe and Matt.
Yeah, I'll
Wow.
bring it in. It's a rare one.
I've never played that. Wow.
1993 was Congo's Caper, which is actually a Joe and Matt game.
Yeah, I
Like
never
the
realized
second
that
Joe
the
Mac.
connection. But then
And I
that
think
got a
it's
sequel,
only
and Joe and Mac got
single
a
player.
sequel.
I think Congo's Caper is only a single player game.
Yeah.
But the protagonist Congo searches for the kidnapped Conget. He is a super kid, a monkey turned into a half human. Getting hit will turn the player back into a monkey.
oh, okay. Whoa.
Jeez,
wait a
now when do you think Donkey Kong Country takes place?
Oh, I don't know.
minute. Well, it's got to be contemporaneous with Mario because that's the canonical Donkey Kong, right? In
But
Donkey
Mario
Kong
rides a
Country?
dinosaur.
Mario does, but that's
Dun,
on
dun, dun,
Dinosaur
dun.
Island.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Donkey
right.
Kong. I don't think Donkey Kong's in any canonical Mario stuff. I don't think Mario Kart and any of the rest of that's canonical.
But doesn't Donkey Kong
Well,
count as canonical?
I don't think Mario
Cranky-
is part of. I don't think Donkey Kong is part of the Mario canon.
Yeah, no, because Cranky is the Donkey Kong that's in Donkey Kong.
Right, yeah. Cranky
And
Kong.
Mario.
I never knew that.
Yeah, Cranky
Yeah.
Kong is Donkey Kong.
But
Wow.
I don't know. Can canon be one way? Because I feel like that's canon in Donkey Kong Country, but I don't think it goes all the way back through to Mario.
What about all those Mario parties?
I want it to be canon because that means that Mario with a whip in Donkey Kong Jr. is also canon, and
Yeah.
that's just that's awesome.
This is an edge case. This is an edge case for
You know what
prehistoric-
you were opening up. This is the Pandora's box.
An edge case for a prehistoric game was Color a Dinosaur on the NES.
Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
one of my favorite titles of all time.
Which I wasn't even aware of until I started doing
Now
this
you
research.
might not expect what that game is about, but it's about coloring a dinosaur. You have a black and white drawing of a dinosaur, and you get to choose colors for it.
I should let my daughter play with it.
NES cartridge, she might like it.
Yeah. And then over on the Super Nintendo in 1993 was Evo Search for Eden.
Oh, what a cool
love
game!
Evo.
I've never played Evo.
Oh man,
You would love it.
really
You
cool.
evolve from the
Club.
Paleozoic era through the Age of Dinosaurs and early man.
I could have played
by
this.
eating other things.
So it's really good. It's
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
Joseph?
it's really like well-known, well thought of game.
We're 93. We're moving toward my favorite prehistoric game. I'm so excited.
No.
It
we
was in
already passed Joe and
1994's Joe and Mac 2 Lost in
Yeah.
the Tropics.
It was not. It was not. But
I never played that.
What about 1994's Radical Rex?
Also not that.
Is it Primal Rage?
It's a skateboarding
no.
dinosaur
No. Oh no, that's a fine game. It's just but it's
on
not.
Super Nintendo, Genesis, and Sega CD.
Okay, I need to track that one down. Probably the Sega CD version.
We're almost there.
Was it 1995's BC Racers?
It was 1995, but it was not BC Racers.
BC Racers is part of the Chuck Rock series.
Oh, whoa.
Well, the
How
Chuck
many
Rock
Chuck Rock
expanded
games
universe.
were there?
Yeah, part of the Chuck Rock expanded universe. You must be thinking of 1995's Chrono Trigger,
Indeed. That's what I'm thinking of, right
which
there.
also has time traveling
Oh, man.
to prehistoric times.
Which I believe are called prehistoric times in the game, right? It's like 20 million BC.
I don't know if that counts. I don't know if I count that.
Why?
What?
Why?
Because it's
if
a-
you will allow turtles in time.
Because it's a fantasy world. It's not Earth.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
Wait,
no,
are we,
whoa, whoa,
are we
whoa.
allowing Flintstones?
yes, we are. We
Okay,
are
because the
I
rare,
didn't- I
one of
didn't
the
know there
rarest
was a
NES
really
games,
good-
Yeah, the rarest-
Surprise at Dinosaur Peak,
Game's like
for
800
NES
bucks.
came out in 1993.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was.
We just
actually a
looked
good
it
one.
up. 28 bids currently on eBay for a loose cartridge, $600.
Yeah.
Also, if I remember right, on the actual like Edge of Time screen, it calls it the prehistoric age. I think that's got to count if it actually says that.
I don't agree with that.
It goes to 10,000.
Why doesn't Star
I
Wars
think it's
count then?
20,000. Yeah.
I mean,
Why doesn't Star
but
Wars
see, I
count?
think
We talked about Star Wars earlier.
prehistoric time.
It was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
yeah, it could be.
but I don't
prehistoric,
think it takes place in prehistoric times.
But it's before history.
Maybe it does.
Oh wait, there is a history there. That that's difficult. 'Cause we
Yeah,
know the
it does
history.
have history within the Star Wars universe, so it's hard to say prehistorical.
Yeah.
There's
But
a
it's
holocron
pre-our
there.
history.
1997 was Tale of the Sun.
Man, Tales from the Sun is like the
Tale of
best.
the Sun, is that what it is?
Tailspin is what you're thinking of.
Tale of the Sun. T-A-I-L.
Yeah, that's
that
the
was
best
91.
bad game that I
The
love.
best bad game.
Yeah,
that
it's-
was a PlayStation game. The player's ultimate objective is to build a tower of mammoth tusks that reaches the sun.
Game's impossible. It makes absolutely no sense. Dan Reichart has an incredible series of him trying to play Tales of the Sun.
Conker's Bad Fur Day had the Ooga Booga level,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
which I think is a prehistoric
I think
level.
we can all gloss past that one.
Yeah, I think so too.
that
Everything
game's
related to
fine.
Joker.
What about the game BC?
Just joking.
Yeah.
The Peter Molyneux game that was never released. It was canceled. It was supposed to take place. You're supposed to be like a caveman.
Does Populous
Like an
count?
action-adventure game set
Is
in
Populous
prehistory times.
prehistory?
A lot of Populous is prehistory.
Is
yeah,
it?
Absolutely. You're like creating the world. I mean, technically, Civilization would fall on this list. Like,
Civ?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Civ
Well, yeah, I guess the Civ games.
the Civ games actually start at the dawn of history. Like the very first thing you do is create things like alphabet or ceremonial burial or the things we associate with keeping
Oh,
history.
so you're creating, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
because I actually think they're past prehistoric because the Civ game, every Civ game starts with the first city.
Right, 4000 BC, you found the city. Yeah, so I think you're right. I think that's actually right on the cusp.
Unless I'm missing something in the last 15 years, that brings us to Far Cry Primal. So which means there has been a big lull in prehistoric games. Now, things that don't count. Primal Rage. That's a post-apocalyptic game.
It is?
Yeah.
The dinosaurs came back?
Yeah, post-apocalyptic.
Oh, Jared,
Yeah.
what about Time Pilot?
Wait. No, I think everything you're fighting in Time Pilot's still
I don't think
historical.
you ever go
Yeah, you never.
into prehistoric times in Time Pilot.
Yeah, you never fight like pterodactyls in Time Pilot
Yeah.
or anything.
Joust,
So,
you fight pterodactyls in?
you do. Joust could be a
That's on
secret
another planet.
prehistoric.
Primal Carnage, the dinosaurs were recreated on an island in modern times. Earthbound, that you actually go to a different planet
Yeah,
for the
it's a
dinosaur
different
level.
planet, right.
Spoilers.
Star Fox Adventures takes place on dinosaur planet,
Dinosaur planet.
not
Prince
prehistoric.
Tricky.
Turok is also another planet.
Whoa. Turok, it's also in the future, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what Turok
Yeah.
is about. Is that what it is? Okay.
Definitely not prehistoric.
What is unclear is
Good
that game,
guns.
Ark Survival.
Oh,
Yeah.
survival evolved.
I'm not sure where that game is supposed to take place. If it's
No, that's
in
very
the past,
sci-fi.
or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
know
to
there's
imagine
some-
it's a conservative Christian creationist universe where man and dinosaurs are
survival,
walking
yeah.
side by side, and that it's like secretly like creationist propaganda. That's
Yeah.
my theory.
Good.
Yeah.
We can put that on the back of their box.
There you have it. A brief history of prehistoric video games.
We nailed
did it.
that one.
Yeah.
What a great segment.
Now it's time for Video Game 20 questions.
Uh-oh.
Everybody knows how this works. We have 20 yes or no questions to guess the mystery game that is in my mind. This week, the game was suggested by Anthony in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh?
Raleigh.
Yeah.
You may begin.
Does it have cavemen in it? No, let's not burn a question.
Does
Was
your
it last week that you didn't get it? Oh no, you got it like on question
yeah,
19 last
19.
week.
does
Yes,
your
I did.
character in this game speak?
Yes.
Is this game? Oh, do you guys want to go by generations? You want to go by? I do like
Yeah,
narrowing
that's
it by
fine.
time. Is this a? Let's see. Is this game a part of the previous game generation? Previous to
Jared,
the current.
let's go by years, buddy. Oh,
Years
no, we
or-
wanted to go by generations.
Yeah,
I remember
know.
we talked about
Yeah,
that.
we talked about that. We thought
So
about
But
you're
still-
asking if it's part of the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii generation?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, there we go. That might have been a wasted question.
Is it from the generation before that?
So is it from the Xbox,
Maybe this
PlayStation
is
2,
hard because
GameCube?
it's
I think we're going to burn a lot of questions here. This might have been a poor
Maybe-
strategy. Maybe we got to go with the year thing. We tried it for variety's sake.
no, it was great though.
It was.
We had a good run. Did this come out before 2000? 2000.
Yes, it did.
We had a strategy. We're trying to stick to a strategy.
All right.
So somebody talks and it
All
came
right,
out before 2000.
So when your character speaks in
Yeah.
this game, do you actually hear words with your ears, or are you seeing text on screen?
That's not a yes or no question.
When your character speaks,
Does it have voice recording?
Does your character have a recorded voice that you hear?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. All
So
right.
that's good because it sounds like Conqueror's Bad Fur Day.
So it's
But,
going to be
wh-
probably an N64 CD or PC game then, because we've got voice samples.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard. It's hard to know how tricksy Damon's being because it could be like some barks from like a fighting game. or-
bad.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Because it could be Street Fighter too.
It's probably a safe bet that it's later, but just don't get locked into that mind.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not
a
going
good
to keep
point.
it locked. All right.
Does this game have sequels?
I don't think so.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that makes it
ooh.
so hard.
Okay.
We gotta narrow down platform.
See, yeah, we probably narrowed down platform.
Did this game release originally release on a cartridge?
No.
Okay, so probably a CD or a disc.
Or an arcade board.
Or arcade board, that's true. So this game released after January 1st, 1990.
No.
Okay, there we
Oh
go.
snap! So what is
Yeah.
it? Gauntlet?
Gauntlet.
Yeah, it
well,
could
there's
be.
a lot of
Fighter need food badly. Or what does he
Berserk
say?
Or Street Fighter
Gauntlet,
1.
Yeah, Street Fighter 1,
China.
Gauntlet, Berserk.
Japan.
Uppercut.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those it could be.
Hubert spoke.
Oh, we probably ought to ask about
Yeah,
whether
but
it's
this he's
arcade or
got
not.
actual voice.
Is it an arcade game?
Yes.
All right, there we go.
Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, there's a lot of those that talked. Goodness. Speaking characters in an arcade game.
I mean, it
Is
sounds
it-
like it's unusual that it has speech, but maybe we
Before,
shouldn't
well, I mean,
get
it's
hung up
speech
on it.
before 1990.
in an arcade game, but there were a lot of games that did that. Like you'd have this voice samples.
There were no sequels.
no sequels.
That I know of.
Well, yeah,
trying to
no
miss it.
well-known sequels.
Oh, that could be hard. What if like Star Wars Arcade now has the voice samples, but never actually had this? Oh, no, because that had Empire. That was a sequel. That's right. That was a direct sequel to the Star Wars Arcade game, so it can't be Star Wars.
I want to remind the panel that Justin's question was, does your character speak?
Yeah, and we can hear them speak.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. there
What does
we go.
that reminder mean?
Now it's a clue.
Suspicious reminder.
In the game Gauntlet, your character does not speak.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Your character says that they need food when they're dying.
Actually,
No,
no,
that's an announcer.
so he's like, warrior needs food.
Yeah,
badly."
I always thought that was the warrior talking in the third person.
The elf
They
is
say it
about
for the
to
elf,
die.
they say it for each class.
I always played warrior.
What about the Valkyrite? It's like, Valkyrite is about to die.
Do you shoot in this game?
No.
Oh,
Do you jump in this game?
Yes.
you jump, so it's not a driving game.
That's 10.
Did we confirm it's arcade?
Yeah,
It is an
it's
arcade game. May not
Well, we
be
didn't
just
actually. Are we still just assuming that?
No, we
we
asked
asked
that
that was
directly.
confirmed. Yeah.
No
Should we ask
shooting.
Aristil
no
before
shooting. Yes,
1985?
jumping.
Okay, so it's not Berserk.
Actually,
it's
jumping.
Not Frenzy.
I asked that question half as a joke, but that eliminates any like scrolling shooter.
Yeah,
That's a
there's
good question.
That's a great question.
Doesn't eliminate Dragon's Lair.
No.
Let's see. So you talk in the game.
Is the company that made this game still in business?
Um,
I don't know why. It's not going to help me at all. It could be. You could say yes or no. It doesn't get me anywhere.
no.
No.
The company that made this game is not in business
No
anymore.
longer in business. Ooh.
Did this come out before 1985?
No.
Okay.
85 and 90.
That makes it a little bit better.
That helps a lot.
You don't shoot.
You don't
Your
shoot.
character talks, but don't get too hung up on
Do
that.
you
I totally
perform?
am hung up on
do you
that.
perform acts of violence in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not 720.
Could be bad dudes.
Yeah, any side-scrolling beat 'em up.
You shooting bad dudes, don't you?
No, you never use a gun. When did Ninja Turtles come out?
Wait,
Is that
I'm just
90?
going to ask it. Is this a side-scrolling beat 'em up?
Yes.
No.
Nailed it.
Okay, so now
Double
it could
Dragon?
be
Yeah.
I don't think
Is
you
there-
don't speak
is there
in Double
speech
Dragon.
in Double Dragon
There's no
Arcade?
speech in Double Dragon.
Or Golden Axe?
Golden Axe.
Do you speak in Golden Axe?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
I
think you
own
speak.
that game.
No.
An arcade cabinet.
No,
I
there's
can't remember.
text, but you never speak.
I don't.
Well,
in the
you do. When
arcade
you get
version?
hit, your characters go, "Rah, rah, rah."
Yeah, that was really
well, there's
good.
a lot of games where you do that. Yeah, but this
And you
is,
kick a gnome.
Huh?
You kick a gnome. All right, we're getting
What
sidetracked.
about the-
Is that why you clarified? Like, is that,
What?
like you did
no,
say
no,
speech,
no,
right?
Was this game based on a licensed property?
No.
Okay, so
Ooh,
it's not, okay.
ooh,
It's
ooh.
15.
Oh man.
Okay, it's
I
a
always
But the
feel
company's not around anymore, so it can't be Golden Axe. That's Sega.
No,
Sega's around.
Wait, is Data East?
He said
wait.
he wasn't around.
Data East isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
That it really could be bad dudes.
Dude, that'd be so cool.
It could also be Crude Buster, but I think that was 90.
I think it's incredibly unlikely.
What?
Are you a human in this game?
Yes.
Are you a bad dude in this game?
Yes. The good thing, like you, on like the second or third question,
Yeah.
you said, I'm bad.
Yeah.
Like, you were so close very early on.
Bad dudes.
Versus
Yeah, I did not
Dragon
expect to get the
Ninja.
question, does your character speak? That never occurred to me, but I was
Nice
like,
done, Justin.
What does the
and so
character say?
I didn't want you to get sidetracked. You asked if it's an arcade game, but like I played the NES port.
Yeah.
It's like the answer to the question, is it an arcade game, is yes, but like that doesn't mean it's exclusively
yeah.
an arcade game.
Yeah, if it's one player, you go, I'm bad. If it's two player, you go, we're bad, or who's
Yeah.
bad. And Steve Martin in Parenthood mentions
Yeah.
bad dudes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tell him the reference. It's really
That's
funny.
great. He and his
really
son
good.
is playing the game, and he's just died, and Steve Martin like walks in with him, and he puts his arm around him. He's like, well, yeah, that's why they call them bad dudes. And they walk away from a bad dudes arcade machine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
That's really
Steve
cool.
Martin joke about
Yeah,
bad dudes.
About bad
really good.
dudes.
Released in 1988, published and developed by Data East.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you guys because I've never played that game.
You know,
Really?
Bad Dudes is
That's a great game.
it's actually a lot of fun.
I mean, I know the game, but I've never played it.
It is a great game.
You're aware that in the end, when you,
You can't
save,
take that back when you say it's a great game.
When you save the president,
Yeah, I can.
he invites you to get a hamburger with
He
him.
does. Are you bad enough dudes to rescue Ronnie, and then
Yeah.
you go get a hamburger with Ronnie?
Yeah,
did
I've
it.
seen the graphics and watched videos of this game.
Yeah. Although I've heard that
Bad Dudes is pretty legit.
It is. It's fun. The arcade version, especially the NES port's kind of rough around the edges, but worth playing.
But it's funny.
Definitely
It's
wanna
hard for me to because in my memory of that game, you sometimes shoot.
No,
See, I wasn't sure. I wasn't
No.
100%
You
sure.
do not
You never
ever-
pick up a gun.
I mean, I
never
believe
shoot.
you,
Like
but
in
I'm
Double
just,
Dragon, you can pick up a
Yeah.
gun.
You
sometimes,
charge
yeah.
up your fist and can do a power punch, but it doesn't shoot out, and use knives and nunchucks. The only other power ups are Coke cans and I think what.
Can we keep
watches.
asking you questions?
I
Yeah.
believe.
Did the characters'
I believe
parents
you. I'm
love
just saying
them?
now I don't
Oh,
even
no,
know
I
what
don't-
game I'm picturing.
The arcade game is called Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the NES is just called Bad Dudes.
And in Japan, it's just called Dragon Ninja in the home system. Yeah, like if you buy the Famicom one, it's just called Dragon Ninja.
We did it.
And you play the game backwards as the final boss.
Yeah.
Also had a
Pretty weird.
spiritual sequel, Crude Busters.
That's the spiritual sequel to Bad Dudes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How great would that be? Is if in a sequel to Bad Dudes, you played as the final boss and you just walk past all your cronies because they're not going to stop you,
Karnov is in that game.
and then you fight the bad dudes at
Well,
the end.
that's another Data East game.
Huh? Yeah.
Karnov's
There's
another Data
Karnov's
East
a boss in Bad
He's a
Dudes.
boss,
You fight
yeah.
him. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Karnov
there's
is
so many reasons
But
we should
Karnov
play Bad Dudes.
isn't Karnov related to Rygar also?
Karnov's related to a time
Rygar's
runner
a Tecmo
Chelnov.
game?
Chelnov.
He's
That's what it
related
was.
to
Tom
Chelnov.
McCrenna Chelnov.
Technos.
What's that?
What's Rygar is made by Technos?
Tecmo.
Tecmo.
Is it a Tecmo game? Is Rygar? Yeah.
The Rygar reboot was pretty good.
Isn't that a Wii game?
PS2? Not that
PS2.
reboot. The first reboot.
You got a yo-yo
Yeah,
shield.
that PS2 one. Yeah, and you get the pizza shield in that
Yeah, it's
one,
pretty
right?
good.
Real quick before we go, what are we playing this weekend? I plan to start The Witness.
Bad dudes.
Play Bad Dudes, yeah.
I'm finished with The Witness, and so I'm gonna go back to Darkest Dungeon, and I
yeah.
think I'm gonna download this game called Infinifactory.
You're not gonna get all the environmental puzzles?
Infiniminer on the PS4. It came out in December.
Weird.
It might be Infinifactory. It's the game for the guys that made Space Kim. My PC is too old to run that game when it came out on a computer, and I saw it came to PS4, and so now I'm really excited.
You're not going to finish all the environmental puzzles? And
I mean, I've had my fill of that game. I'm many hundreds of puzzles in. Yeah.
I'm playing something for review that may end up stretching into the weekend because it's taking longer than I thought. But if I get some free time, definitely going to keep diving into The Witness.
I already told Bad Dudes. I'm going to play Bad Dudes.
Good.
Play
Wow.
the arcade version, though, man. That's-
Report
I
back to
don't
us.
have access to that. Well, I'll look around the Bay Area and see
yeah,
if I
look
can
around, see if you can find
Okay.
one. That's
Do you own the NES cart?
No.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I'll figure
Seek
it
it
out.
out.
The NES one we have good memories of, but it really is pretty choppy.
Also, I have to finish Zelda 2. I'm on the sixth palace, the hidden palace.
Oh yeah, that's a game right there. That's a game. That's a game for
It's a tough
for
palace,
tough people.
man. It's got some floors that disappear.
Yeah, it
Fall a
does.
lot.
Fall through them. Wait till you get to that great palace, man.
Oh, man.
Great palace without a map.
You got to
is-
fight bosses just right in the middle of the palace.
First appearance of Shadow Link. Great game, man. That was a great movie.
What? That's in that? Oh, you spoiled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That
Sorry
is,
about that. Yeah. When I was a kid, my hit just.
Yeah.
When
So
Jack
would
went.
Sam's.
Well, until next time.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the scoops we have for you this week. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Sam. Remember, you
welcome.
can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. My name is Damon. This is IGN Gamescoop, and we're out.